Something about the shuffles of Bakersfield, and Ray Price was in Nashville, but he was doing those shuffles. Something about that has always just really excited me. I think that it's great danceable music, and it's very has a lot of life to it. So I think that really just drew me in, and the stories. Obviously, that's what everybody says about country music is the stories. I always liked the writing that was so clever. Could turn a hook on itself and make it very clever. I've just always loved that.
This is Rob Ruckus.
Hey, this is Kate Clover.
Hey guys, it's Nick Collins here from The Effect and Better Strangers.
Hi, my name is Madeline Rose.
Hey, it's Ben McKelvey.
It's Tim Howard here from Mike and the Mechanics.
Hello, I'm Amanda Lehman.
I'm Billy Harvey.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Casey Sampson from the band Twist Stop.
Hey, it's Tony from Fastball.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isaiah Mitchell.
Hey guys, it's Matt here from the White Lakes.
You're listening to Almost Famous Magazine.
Come join us for this interview. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hang right here on Almost Famous Magazine. Thank you to everyone who shows up week after week for these amazing conversations we have with some of today's greatest musicians. If you're new to the channel, please, you know what to do. Subscribe, share, thumbs up if you like it, comments down below, all that stuff. It really means a lot to not only us, but also the people who join us. Today, we're going to hang with Chandler Dozier. He's a country musician inspired by the Bakersfield. I used to live not far from there, so I should be able to say it. Sound of Southern California, early bluegrass of the Appalachians, as well as a neo-traditionalist movement of the 1980s. He's relocated from Troy, North Carolina to Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him today. So Chandler, welcome to The Hang.
Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We tend to start these where they begin, and where the beginning is your musical journey. Did you find music, or did music find you? And what's that story that got you to where you are today?
Really kind of growing up, I knew that I loved music. I loved music from all my favorite movies and everything, like the soundtracks, so especially the John Williams stuff of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. But I didn't have much music in my family, so my parents never really acted on that. But when I was in middle school, I asked to start playing guitar. I'd seen a friend start playing guitar, and so started doing that. And it took me a while to figure out that I really loved it, or what to do with that, until my parents took me to Nashville on a trip when I was in high school into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I realized how much I love traditional country music. And that kind of really, really brought it to me.
Yeah. Who are some of the musicians that you kind of latched onto early in country music that kind of inspired you?
Well, early on, it was really Brad Paisley. And I think that created a huge segue for me, because when he started out, he was doing more traditional stuff, and he's varied a little bit as he's gone on in his career. But that opened the door, because he would always talk about the Bakersfield sound or bluegrass. And so that opened the door to me finding out about Buck Owens, and really getting into Buck Owens and Merle Haggard, and later Dwight Yoakam, and a lot of the bluegrass like Bill Monroe and Flatt and Scruggs. So I'd say he really opened the door for that for me.
What was it about this style of music that drew you to it? What the genre itself?
Something about the shuffles of Bakersfield, and Ray Price was in Nashville, but he was doing those shuffles. Something about that has always just really excited me. I think that it's great danceable music, and it's very has a lot of life to it. So I think that really just drew me in. And the stories, obviously. That's what everybody says about country music is the stories. I always liked the writing that was so clever. Could turn a hook on itself and make it very clever. I've just always loved that of country music.
Yeah. And now you recently relocated to Nashville. What brought that about?
I've lived here for 5 years in August. So when I graduated high school, I came to college here in Nashville, Belmont University. And so I graduated a year ago last May. And so that's what brought me here. But I used that as a segue to moving to Nashville to do music.
It's a good reason to stay put, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. What'd you get your degree in?
Music business.
Yeah. Now, how are you looking to put that into to play with your career?
Well, when I was at school, I did a lot of internships through that, and so a lot of publishing companies and some labels, and that really just kind of, one, allowed me to make some connections, but two, I wanted to just gather a good understanding of how the music industry worked in Nashville. So I think that will help me in the long run. I will understand how to take care of myself, I guess, to put it lightly, and just learn the ropes, really. But also to have a business degree, I felt was a good idea.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's great to hear that you've learned about the business, you've got an idea of how the business works, because so many artists get taken advantage by the business. So you'll be able to protect yourself a little with it. So I think that's great. Where does your inspiration come from?
I would say for my songwriting, I suppose, or
for your songwriting.
For my songwriting, I usually write alone. I've tried co-writing, but I just haven't really found someone that I really connect with in what I want to do. So a lot of the times it's real life experiences, if that's heartbreak or whatever I go through, is usually where I draw my inspiration from. But I will usually try, if I have a favorite Merle Haggard song or a favorite George Strait song, I'll be like, wow, I want to write a song like that. And so I'll really try and obviously not copy it, but emulate that emotion and feeling of whatever that song was. That's usually what I try and accomplish.
Yeah. When you made that decision after your parents took you to Nashville and you saw the Country Music Hall of Fame and you're like, hey, I want to do this. Did you gravitate toward teaching yourself or toward lessons?
I took some guitar lessons in the beginning, and I really think that just kind of solidified my love for music, but I maybe did not learn everything I needed. And I realized that because I'm from a small town and there was not many musicians, especially musicians that played country music, which is kind of odd being from the South into North Carolina. I just couldn't really find it. And so I think it really I'm glad I moved here when I did, because getting thrown into the fire pretty much of Nashville, and all your best country musicians in the world live here. And so you learn pretty quick from those people or playing with those people.
What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned playing with musicians in Nashville?
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I've been humbled many and many times again. There was one instance that I really think about often, one that keeps me up at night, I guess, that I had the opportunity, and this is when this was probably 2021, so I had not lived in Nashville very long, and had no idea what I was doing, but I'd started playing downtown, and I didn't have a steady band, and so I was always calling new people, and somebody gave me the phone number of one of Merle Haggard's old bass players later in his career, and so I got to play with him, and I wouldn't say I did bad or anything like that, but I just obviously was not where I should have been, or just like fully developed. And I could just see it on his face half the gig that he was like, oh, this kid is really struggling here. So that really taught me to know what I am doing, have everything down.
Has he become a good friend and mentor for you at this point?
No, honestly, I've seen him around, but I'm too embarrassed. I could never talk to him. And maybe I will, because I feel a lot more confident in my ability now. But I'm too embarrassed.
Oh no! Well, hopefully you two will cross paths again, and you can maybe ask him how he felt that night, and
right.
There's probably a lesson in there for you.
Yeah.
It's been a big year for you so far. You've had a few singles out, with your latest being "Let Me Be," which dropped in July.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about "Let Me Be" and where that came from.
So "Let Me Be" is a little different than the first two I put out. This obviously would show more of my bluegrass influence, and so I would say it's in the simplest way, it's melody and lyrics would be inspired by Flatt and Scruggs, Bill Monroe, the very early bluegrass. And then, it's not completely bluegrass instrumentation. I mean, it is, but I have drums and I play electric guitar on there. So it's a little modernized. Bill Monroe probably would not be happy with that, but I just feel it has to change a little bit. So I felt that was good, but it's a kind of a snarky, up-tempo song.
Yeah. Now you've got 3 singles out. Is this a prelude to an album? Are you going to be one of those musicians who does just singles, or is there an album in the works? What's coming down the pipeline?
I personally hate the idea of just singles. I really, really do not like that. No, I didn't do a full album, but I'm doing an EP. And so, this EP, is going to be 6 songs. And, so those are the first 3 singles. And I felt that this, EP just kind of covers a diverse, range of my music.
Yeah. When can we expect that? Is that going to be later this year or sometime in 26?
August.
August. Okay, so we've got it out now. Let me ask you this: you've solidified yourself with performing in the Nashville area. How do people? Where can they find you performing on the regular?
Right. Regular. I have my band downtown. We frequent Layla's Honky Tonk downtown and Alan Jackson's bar down there with, also there's a Mel Mushroom down there. It's a restaurant play down there. And you can find me at some other spots sometimes if we fill in. Also there's some regular, artist showcases I'll do around town. One being Honky Tonk Tuesday. Not sure if you've heard of that, but we've done that and would like to do that again. That's a great one here in town.
So pretty much if you're making travel plans to get to Nashville, something on your agenda has to be checking out Chandler, doesn't it?
Be great.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now, have you been, you mentioned different areas that your sound comes from. Have you been to Bakersfield? Have you traveled to see some of these other places?
I have been to California when I was young, and I went to LA and San Francisco. I'm dying to go to Bakersfield, which every time I talk to somebody that's from Bakersfield, they say, there's nothing there. I don't know why you want to go, but I really want to go see, obviously the sign, but the Kern County Museum, because they've got a lot of Merle Haggard suits and Buck Owens stuff, and they even have Merle Haggard's boxcar that he grew up in. They've moved it there. And also the Crystal Palace, Buck Owens' place there. But I'd just like to go see all that stuff. And I guess the ruins of some of the old clubs where they used to play.
Yeah. No, it's Bakersfield could use a little love in renovation, but there's definitely that history there to check out if you get a chance. Has there been someone currently or previously in your musical career that's been like kind of your biggest inspiration or has had the greatest impact on your career so far?
I would definitely say Dwight Yoakam is my biggest inspiration, my biggest influence. I just loved, he took so many subgenres of country music, I feel like, and then just morphed them into something really cool, really exciting. And he's a great songwriter, great performer. Just everything about him is just very cool. Great actor too. So,
have you ever had this chance to see him perform live?
I've seen him 3 times, and I'm probably going to see him again this year when he comes to Nashville.
What's the experience like for you?
Oh, it's great. It's really exciting. It's fun to see him because he's, I think he's 68 now, 69, pushing 70, and he still dances the way he used to. It's fun to see that.
Yeah. No, I think you definitely enjoy that. Who are some artists that bring you ideas, right? Because creativity is collaborative, right? We take from one another, we put it in a pot, we stir up a bunch of different things, we add a little of our own something to it. Who are some artists that you kind of like pick and pull from when you're writing?
I would say some that I've mentioned, obviously, Dwight Yoakam, Merle Haggard, Buck Owens. But I love George Strait. I love a lot of his stuff. And Dillon was a huge writer for him, and so was a man named Whitey, Shafer. I love both those songwriters. And but there's a lot of traditional country I love. Marty Robbins, Patsy, Cline, George Jones, a lot of stuff. But a lot of those writers from those times, there's a man named Hank Cochran. Love him. Harlan Howard is another one. So there's a lot of, like, I'll love the musicians, I'll love the artists themselves, and I'll also love the songwriters, and try and take from all of them, I suppose. There's a lot you can dig and find out.
Absolutely. Now, have you ever had interest outside of this genre?
Yes, I love, besides country music, I love jazz music. I love a lot of old jazz, and I love blues. There's some classic rock I enjoy. Bluegrass, if you consider that a out of country music genre, and some classical music. But mainly country music, and a subgenre of country music called Western swing. That's Bob Wills. That's kind of country jazz.
I'm in Dallas, and Bob Wills is very well known for his country swing up here in North Texas. So for sure, that's one of the greats. Absolutely. Do you have any plans of getting out of Nashville to perform? Is there anything kind of percolating there that people should be aware of?
I would really like to. Since I have a steady band, I'm trying to figure that out. That's kind of the next step for me. And since I've gotten this music out now, I have a product to kind of show, and I kind of wanted to do that first. So I'm in the works of that. Would like to go. I'd definitely like to come to Texas, and go home to North Carolina and play places like that. So working on that.
I want to hit on something that you brought up earlier was that, you got a music business degree. What are your feelings on the state of music these days? Because it was interesting, your response. You don't want to be just someone who drops singles all the time. So, like, how do you feel about the state of music in general?
Well, being in Nashville in particular, you see it kind of every day. It's kind of like just daily life. I don't currently love country music. I mean, I don't really listen to anything modern. But there's no problem. Nothing wrong with it to me. It's not what I enjoy. But I would say that the thing I said about the single is like, it's funny. You could argue and say that that's a modern thing, but in the 50s and before, I mean, that was the thing. Everyone, like Elvis, was putting out singles before there were albums, and then albums became the way to listen to music. I prefer albums now, but I think that it's kind of really is a formula. I suppose music is kind of on a formula, and some people are okay with following that if they want to be very, very successful. And some people want to stick to what they want to do, and they're okay with a medium level of success, I suppose.
Yeah. What's your feeling on the fact that, a lot of musicians these days, they get into being a musician, but they're kind of forced into being we'll call it content creator. Like,
Right.
What's your sentiment on that?
I've had to get into that a little bit myself, making videos. I think that there's two sides to it. Like, I personally hate social media, and I think that we shouldn't know so much about people's life. I think that if we know everything about everybody now, it's kind of a little strange to me. But at the same time, I've found it's helped me reach more people, and it's continuing to grow, and I see it growing. And honestly, I think that there's a way to do it without being, for lack of a better term, like cringy, or just kind of doing trends or whatever everybody else is doing. I think you can just use it as a promotional tool, is basically what I do, and just make videos to promote my music. And it seems to work at times. I think you can still just be kind of genuine about it and not be annoying to people. Because
well, I don't know if you've written a song on this yet or not, but definitely your feeling about social media is probably a good idea for a song.
Right, probably so. Probably so. With the changing world, you can always write about that.
Absolutely. One thing that I'm a big believer in is once you put something out into the world, it's there for people to enjoy, people to latch onto, and you never know what's going to happen with something you say and or do, right? I mean, it's kind of that, goes back to that social media thing, right? But I'm always, although I'm not a bucket list kind of person, I am about, dreams and aspirations. And I'm always fascinated and interested in if you have a someone who would be a dream collaboration that maybe you could get into a studio with for a day, be creative day with, learn from them, something like that. Who would it be? And more importantly, why would it be them?
Right. So there's many people that have passed on that I would love to, but so that is living now would be Dwight Yoakam, him being my biggest influence. I would love to work with him and meet him. I'd have a million questions about songwriting to him, and definitely.
Well, there you have it, audience. If any of you are connected to Dwight Yoakam, or if Dwight, you're watching, we have someone that you should be connecting with. So, Dwight, pay attention, please. Let's make Chandler's dreams and aspirations come true. Now, I'm a big believer and a big proponent that we need to support our artists. Art in general is not free. Art in general comes with a cost, whether it's a monetary cost, a physical cost, an emotional cost to the artist. And although, Spotify makes listening to music easy, I guess is the best way to put it. The reality is that supporting artists through purchasing their music, and all of the links will be down below so that you can purchase Chandler's music, buy tickets to see him perform. If you're in the Nashville area, support him by going to his performances, going to his website, buying anything you can so that he can support himself, because there's no way that he's going to have gas money to get to Bakersfield or anywhere else on a Spotify payment. Let's just call it what it is. So please go out and support Chandler. With that, and this is going to be interesting because you'd mentioned that you really don't listen to many contemporary artists. But I'm always interested in the music that an artist is listening to when they're not making their own. Like, do you go to the gym and you have a certain playlist for a gym you put together? Do you go out and walk, meditate, go to the woods, just go out for a drive? Who are 3 artists that you're listening to, whether it's contemporary or an older artist, kind of on the regular that you really love? And if we were just sitting here having a beer, you're like, Scott, I'm digging this. You got to listen to this. Who would those be?
Right. Well, I won't mention the ones that I've already talked about. I'll mention new. Keith Whitley. Keith Whitley is one of my favorites. I love Keith Whitley. He passed too young, and a lot of great music in his short time. I would say Roy Orbison. Love Roy Orbison a whole lot. I love doo-wop music and rockabilly music of the 50s and 60s. He was a big component of that. And that I listen to regularly, I wouldn't say there's many contemporaries. So I'm trying to think of some other names I haven't mentioned. I would probably say, let me think of a different genre, I guess.
Well, I mean, I was just about to go there. I mean, you mentioned that you like jazz. Are you a Miles Davis kind of guy? Are you a Weather Report kind of guy? What kind of jazz do you like?
I like Miles Davis. I really like bebop, but also bebop. So would be Charlie Parker, and I like that as a musician. But there's also a lot of acoustic jazz, like Django Reinhardt. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a famous guitar player. I love Django Reinhardt or Wes Montgomery. Those are some guitar players that I really like. So jazz kind of all over the board I like, but definitely that kind of stuff too.
Well, I think, knowing, bebop definitely feeds into the music that you're making for sure.
It does. People don't think of that, but it does, especially for Western swing. I mean, bebop can work over Western swing very well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, hey, Chandler, it's been great getting to know you. I wish you the greatest success. Greatest success with your EP. Hopefully that you can, get the band out of Nashville. You're always welcome here in Dallas. If you're visiting the Nashville area, make sure that you got Chandler on your to-do list. Don't forget that one. And, just all the best in the rest of the year. And you know what? Maybe next year will be the album year. You never know.
Right.
You never know. So it's been great getting to know you. Everybody, thanks for hanging with us, coming back every week. We really appreciate it. And, if you think about it, these conversations really get to the heart of who these artists are, really gives an opportunity for you to get to know them and support them. So not only is our appreciation for you as well, but the ones who really go out and support these artists that we hang with. So again, Chandler, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
And everybody, we'll see you soon with another great hang. Bye for now.